Beware risk of another crypto flush out before the mega bull run. Welcome back to the Crypto Astro channel, bringing a radical, innovative new approach to crypto analysis, combining technical analysis with astrology. I'll get my predictions and what I'm doing at the end of the video. Please note that there are comments below that are spam bots, so please don't fall for those promotions for false crypto projects, as well as those who have gotten messages from a scammer on Instagram. Please report them and obviously ignore those messages. None of this content is financial or investment advice. This content is intended for entertainment and informational purposes only. So I had a funny song in my last video that I sang for a little bit, and I had a client make a full song with it, so I wanted to share that really quick. Check this out. I think you guys might enjoy this, hopefully as much as I did. All right, so very, very interesting and a great question, Morningstar. Morningstar. I don't know, it sounds like there could be a good song about Morningstar. Morningstar, the morning star. Tune into the morning star. The morning star, the morning star. Tune into the morning star. The morning star. All right, so I thought I'd share that. Thought it was pretty awesome. Really good song there. For those who want to hear it, let me know in the comments below if you want to hear the full song. All right, so let's take a look at the charts. All jokes aside, although that was a good song. Bitcoin obviously got that dump a few days ago. We have been heading back up, but let's turn on the indicators here. So we are still hanging out below a major 50% level from the very peak all the way to this bottom here. This 50% level is sitting at 61,370. We have so far gotten rejected from that level. If we want to see Bitcoin recover, we need to start heading above 61,000 approximately and heading up towards the higher 60s very, very soon, because if we don't get that, we could be down we could have another leg down. Okay, and another indicator regarding that is related to what's happening with the SPY, the S&P 500, is we have gotten this dump down. Obviously, we've recovered quite a bit. Let's see how far we've come up so far. We recovered up to this level. Wow, 6% pump up. However, we are heading right towards these potential trend lines from April 2024, and then this trend line downward. So we're potentially, we might not even hit these trend lines, but we could hit there and head back down. This is potentially a lot of resistance that we're going to be bumping up against. So it's probably more likely the scenario that we correct back down again. And we don't know how far that's going to be, but it could be a decent sized correction. So I have put an indicator to remind myself to get ready to put stop losses in, as we could be heading down lower. As many of you know, the crypto markets typically follow the S&P 500, the Dow Jones, and what the macro is doing. And so if these get a big correction, so does crypto. Just like we saw back in August 1st, August 2nd, we got this major dump in the macro markets. What happened with Bitcoin and crypto? August 2nd, massive, massive dumps, and we dumped a lot further than the macro markets did. Another interesting thing to note is that if we look at the total crypto market, we zoom out. This is on logarithmic scale, but from the very peak of last year down to the bottom, we run a Fibonacci. We just bounced below the 50% level, but are heading back up. So that is potentially a major level of support for the total crypto market cap around this 50% level is 1.87 trillion. Now we did wick below that, which can happen sometimes in this highly volatile crypto market. But there's potentially a lot of buying action that came in, a lot, because there's buying action all the way from this bottom all the way up, and that's potentially could be smart money buying there. 19% pump back off the low there. And check this out, even more significant. We got this major buying, major volume here in the green. We haven't gotten volume that high on the total market cap since the bull run 2021. Last time we got volume that high, we bounced off of those lows. We did get, so that's over here. Let's see if we can zoom in. In May 2021. So that's around here. We did get another dump down. So could we potentially get something like that again? It's certainly possible. I'm not certain that we will dump down lower than before, as we're getting such high volume here, but it's certainly possible. So that is a good thing to pay attention to. Let me clean this up a bit. So we could, let's go to this one. We could potentially get another correction, especially if the macro markets get that correction, like I was pointing out. And it could be, one thing that's interesting to look at is, well, I'll show you in a moment, but I'll talk about it in a little bit towards the end, but the Wyckoff accumulation schematic, where we could get another dump down, but it might not be as low as this one. We'll have to see. But if we head back down, we potentially have levels of support probably around this 53,000 level, around this area. So we could put a line there. It's not guaranteed that we're going to bounce off of that, but there could be some support there. And then, of course, down to 50,000 and 49,000 here. If we do head lower than that, I believe there is support around 44,000, which I believe is the 50% level from the entire Bitcoin previous all-time high. If we go from there all the way down here to the low, we do get that 50% level. Oh, it's a little bit lower than I thought, around 42,000. But we also have some support, around this peak, which is at 45,000. So there could be a lot of support there. Okay, let's take a look at what else I want to cover. Let me know in the comments below what questions you have. We could look really quick at some of the other strong altcoins like Solana. We did get that big dump, but it was getting a lot of support around these 50% level. 111 and then 108. It did not get down to that 108, but I am planning to buy big time for Solana if it goes below, well, if it gets down to 111 again, for sure. But if it goes below 108, it could be heading down below the 100s potentially if we get a major dump in the macro markets. So that I'll be licking my chops if that happens. Ethereum got a bounce. It is seeing some resistance here. It has not gotten up past 2,800. If it does not get past 2,800, it could continue to head back down to the lower 2,000s potentially. But there is a trend line that I have here. If we zoom out, so you can see this trend line could potentially have a lot of support here. So we could get a lot of support in the lower 2,000s, around 2,200. I would be thinking that's a major buy opportunity. However, it is still holding up pretty. Price is still fairly low relatively for Ethereum, in my opinion, but not financial advice. Now, another quick thing to note is one of my top altcoin picks in my private Crypto Astro Mastermind is still doing very well. It only dumped a little bit on this mega dump here, and it is still, like I said, it is holding up very strong. If you want to get access to that, you can check out my Crypto Astro Mastermind in the description box below. You can get in with one payment. You'll get access to my altcoins with 10x to 20x potential masterclass, as well as the Bitcoin astrology for the rest of the year. Okay. Now, where we could be headed in these markets is towards a mega bull run, and that has to do with this chart here. It's from Raoul Powell, and this is my buddy Sim. So this is the federal government current expenditures, interest payments owed by the government. And as you can see, it is going to be going exponential from here on out into 2025, heading to 2026. Now, the government is going to need to have the liquidity to pay off this debt, or else, well, basically they have to. And so typically the way they do that is quantitative easing, also known as money printing. It's not literally money printing if you really look into it, but it's allowing a lot more liquidity to flood into the markets. If and when that happens, I think it's guaranteed that's going to happen, honestly. But there could be some black swan events before that, as we did see some crazy stuff back in 2020, if you remember that. Coming into the quantitative easing stage, which is the potential banana zone of the crypto market, that could obviously cause a mega bull run. So that's what I'm personally thinking about that. And what else do I want to share? Also, we have this graph that I've showed many times. If you take a look at this gold chart here, so this is the S&P 500 election year seasonal pattern. This year's an election year. The pink line is where we are, and it's looking a little bit similar to the gold, where it went down in April and up in May. So the gold is also showing potential. If history repeats, we could get more dumps, more corrections in the S&P 500 September and maybe even October as well, before getting a major rebound. So if that happens, we could be seeing that another crypto flush out as well. Now here is the Wyckoff accumulation, what I was talking about earlier. Could we have gotten through this? Are we in the spring phase C right here, where we just saw us dip to 49K for Bitcoin? Are we going to potentially test a higher level, which likely would be, like I was talking about, at the 53K level, which would match this level over here, the ST here. That would match very, very well with this Wyckoff accumulation schematic, where potentially we get that another dump, and then we start stair-stepping upwards in the upcoming months before maybe towards the end of the year, heading into this SOS stage, phase D, signs of support there. So that is what I'm thinking currently. Let's see what else I want to cover here. We could dive into the astrology as well. So as I've mentioned in my previous video, we are getting some intense astrology coming up on August 19th. We're getting a crazy full moon, a gnarly full moon, where we are going to get this Jupiter. Here's the planet Jupiter. That is going to be exactly squaring Saturn. So you can see 17 degrees, and Jupiter's at 17 degrees as well. Those planets are going to be squaring. The last time we had this kind of square, I believe, was 2015, heading into 2016. Now we're going to get this square a couple more times as well over the next year. So it's gonna bring some challenges. It's gonna bring some potential volatility for sure. Saturn is this is really control versus freedom, kind of the old systems and structures in society versus freedom and optimism, kind of the values of, you could say, the U.S. Constitution in some ways. So the old systems want to clamp down more potentially as the old systems are starting to die out, top-down bureaucracy, whereas the values of freedom and removing the shackles of society and the old systems, the old financial systems and structures. So we are seeing those themes playing out, especially on August 19th on this full moon. This could cause a dump in the markets. Not guaranteed, though. It could head out another few weeks as well, heading into September. September, we're also going to get Pluto retrograding. Take a look at Pluto right here. Pluto retrograding back into Capricorn, which is potentially going to bring even more power to Saturn here as Jupiter squares Saturn. Pluto goes into Capricorn, which is ruled by Saturn. So it could bring, more themes of the old systems trying to hold on for dear life, hold on for power, as many of us can potentially see in world events and government activity. And this is going to be a very intense election in the United States as well. So predictions on what's to come, a lot more volatility. And that's pretty obvious, I think. So potential another correction. I'm definitely I'm making sure that I have cash to dollar cost average if we do see these corrections, which in my opinion are very likely. And we're also, the Fed is going to continue to, well, actually not continue. They're going to start cutting rates. There's a 56% chance they're going to cut rates on September 18th. And a 43% chance that they're going to do two cuts on September 18th. So we'll see how that pans out. There is still fear in the stock market and fear in the crypto market. Not surprised. All right, so we're not out of the woods yet. There still could be some more pain to go, but in my opinion, great buying opportunities. That's what I'm thinking, not financial advice. You make your own decisions. Okay, let's see what kind of comments we have here. Why did Bitcoin drop even though the CPI news wasn't negative? I think it's because the PPI the day before was more positive than expected, and then CPI, it was a little bit lower than expected, but not very much. So I think it still wasn't as low as people were expecting, especially compared to the PPI data, which was really lower than expected. That's what I'm thinking. US sold 10K Bitcoin. Okay, interesting. That's possible. I didn't hear about that. I'm not certain about that. When do you think the bull run top will be? That's a great question. Definitely sign up for my Crypto Astro Mastermind if you want to get much deeper analysis on that. We're going to be talking about that at my Crypto Astro Bali retreat. And as well, we're going to be talking with some of my astrology colleagues. But a little hint is it could be, the year after this year, potentially. We'll see. Blood Diamond Weekly on Market Cypher again, just like August 2021. I don't want to make the mistake of being optimistic again. Yeah, so the theme with Jupiter squaring Saturn, Jupiter is typically overly optimistic, overly positive, ignores all the red flags. But Saturn's going to bring in those hard lessons in reality. So we do not want to get overly optimistic right now. We don't want to be calling, we're going to go to the moon or things like that. But there is a lot of fear in the markets right now. So I personally am also doing some nibbling on some of my top altcoin picks that I go over in my private Crypto Astro Masterclass. that you can get access to in the link below. How much is XRP at the end of the year? Astrology. Who knows? XRP is very tough to predict. Bitcoin is much easier. Historically, Bitcoin follows the astrology much more accurately than XRP. That's just because Bitcoin's still the top dog. XRP tends to just follow the rest of the market. So if we get another all-time high, you know, obviously XRP got a major pump off of the news of finalizing the lawsuit with the SEC, but it only got to what 65,000? What did it 69? I forgot exactly. 66,000 or 65 cents. It got a little pump, but nothing too crazy. So XRP, it's still potentially waiting maybe to consolidate for the next couple months, 3 months before another potential pump. That's what I'm thinking. Not financial advice. When do I expect the weakest time in September, October? Anytime, honestly. But even early October, there could still be a dump during the eclipses. Because that's potentially also a time when institutions, I believe, are potentially taking profits. I forgot the proper terminology from one of my macro colleagues, but I did write a note that let's see, looking at my notes, there could be a liquidity drain around early October from institutions as they rebalance their portfolios. And then after that, liquidity could massively expand heading into 2025. All right, so I'm giving you guys some of the goods here. Do I also think about shorting? Are you saying shorting Bitcoin? I personally don't do shorting, but if that is your strategy, it could be. I can't give any sort of advice on that. You know, you got to do your own research and whatever. If you're someone who likes to short the market, if you feel confident with that, if you're experienced, you know, you definitely got to know what you're doing before you do that. Greetings from Turkey. Yeah, thanks so much for tuning in. Would love to visit Turkey someday if I get the chance. All right, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. So glad to be of service here on the Crypto Astro channel. I hope you liked the Crypto Astro song that I played on the beginning of this video from one of my clients who made this amazing song. But thanks so much, guys. And I will see you on the next video. Peace.